I'm going to rinse this off just because we've got a lot of oil on it. But this is not the safest way to do this, but I've done it a few hundred times and 1,000 times.
That's okay. That's what editing software is for.
Right. But I feel like, I mean, you can leave it in there. I just feel like I need to put the disclaimer in there. Like, sure. I do certain things because I have been doing it for 4 years now and am comfortable doing it that way. I would not teach someone to do it that way because the risk of injury or failure is unacceptably high. Also not a recommended technique, but...
I saw this video, this Italian guy was doing that all the time. The hand strop.
Maestro Levy.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm just hitting an individual hair with each part of the blade to verify that it is in fact sharp, because it looks pretty darn good. I'm going to strop it on chromium oxide.
Okay, so I'm in this so I can kind of pick up Hunter's mic. The class is amazing, by the way, completely worth it. I don't even live in Oregon, but it was worth the plane flight, and thank you guys so much for putting it on, because it's one thing to watch a YouTube video, but it's another thing to have ones like yourself and Scott really guide us through that process, help us to understand what we need to adjust. So sign up, come visit Portland, it's a great thing to do.
Awesome. Thanks for the feedback, Derek. You did really well in the class, like I gotta say. The guy's a natural, so it was really easy to, it was nice to have, this group was really good in general. Like, everybody responded really well to instructions, everyone was safe, which is kind of a big deal when you're working with sharp tools. But
outstanding couple from Colorado, by the way, as well. They were exceptional, I think. We'll just leave it at that. But one of the things I want to ask you guys about is just what's it like for you to actually do something with your hands and have something tangible at the end of it? You know, so many things are digital, or they kind of just exist in the cloud now. Or so, what's it like for you to start a process with a piece of metal and then at the end see that product?
Oh man, from the maker perspective, like it's really visceral. You have a real connection to the thing that comes out at the other end. And we've been doing it for 3 years now, and still when we have a finished razor in our hand, we kind of go, holy smokes, I can't believe I made that. Like, there's such a mental disconnect from the raw materials that go in that raw chunk of steel or wood or plastic or whatever, and ending up with that final product. And for me, this was my first real entry into handmade products like this, certainly at this level. I was a hobbyist knife maker before I joined Portland Razor Company, but nothing like what we're currently making. So learning about those processes and that, yes, you can do this with your hands, with simple tools. The tools to make straight razors are not super sophisticated. We've made a few, like the CNC water jet and the laser cutter. We've made some modern upgrades to the process, but a lot of what we do is a belt grinder and hand sanding, and you know, a lot of looking and feeling. There's a lot of intuition involved in it, beyond some of the tools we have to check our work.
Right.
And that was something that was completely new to me on that level. So many products that we interact with as consumers, it's like it comes out of a black box as a finished thing, and there's no connection to the process. We were so taken by that and so connected to it that we wanted to have a 100% transparency policy where customers could come in, see the product that they were buying, and then see where it came from. I won't go as far as to like let people come into the shop while we're making their razor, because there's some safety stuff involved there. But people can come in and see that, yes, we actually make things here.
Right.
And it was kind of disheartening at first, and now we kind of understand it a little bit better. We could have this whole conversation with people about, here's how we make a razor. And then at the end of a 20-minute conversation, they'll say, cool, so where do you get your blades from?
Right.
We make them right here.
Yeah. It's just a different concept. And kind of picking up on that, one of the things that I really like about a straight razor, I'm a new user, just like your razor was the first one I've ever owned.
That's awesome.
But you know, everything is kind of made to be disposable now. I really enjoy my iPad, I like my phone, but it's made in 2 or 3 years at the most to cycle out and the new thing comes in. And one of the things I like about the aesthetic of a straight razor is it's made for decades, maybe even generations.
Right.
So I guess what I want to ask is like, what would you say is the philosophy behind that for you guys at Portland Razor?
Yeah. Well, from Scott's perspective, he will tell you over and over again, it was really for him a pursuit of the ultimate tool. And the straight razor was kind of the perfect answer for shaving that maybe we never should have gotten away from. It's just that we started making sacrifices in terms of quality and legacy, that kind of romantic idea of having something that you can pass on,
right.
In favor of convenience. It was more convenient to have a blade that you just pop out and pop in and not have to learn how to sharpen it, not have to worry about rust prevention, not worry about maintaining this thing over the generations, because those things were worth having, in favor of something that was quick and easy. And we're now kind of on the backswing of that. We've kind of peaked in a lot of ways,
right.
What we can manage in terms of convenience, and realizing that there are some drawbacks to that, right? There's the environmental impact. There's actually not as much of a cost savings. You know, the razor and blade business model exists because of Gillette developing.
And their patent's running out, right, Dad?
Right. The razor and blade business model is we're going to give you a razor really cheap and then sell you blades for the rest of your life.
Right.
Right. The straight razor liberates you entirely from that, especially if you buy a good stone and learn how to use it. You don't need us anymore.
Right.
So from a businessman's perspective, we get asked all the time, aren't you killing your customer
bad
base
model.
then? Yeah. But that hasn't been true for us. Like, we've had people who are now second, third, fourth time customers.
Right.
And it might not be for a razor, it might be for a strop, it might be for, you know, the soaps and aftershaves, things that we're doing in the shave shop. But a lot of people are, and they like the fact that we want to set our customers up for success and for the long term kind of endears them to us, and we find that a lot of them actually come back,
right,
for that reason.
Yeah, and I appreciate that on this little side. I really appreciate how you guys are really good with communication. You know, I had questions, I had things before I even ordered my razor, and you guys ordered. Typically, I got an email that same afternoon, or at the very latest the next day. So that really was helpful in that process.
Thanks. We do our best.
I guess another thing I want to ask too is, like, I used to give guitar lessons. Everybody wanted to do that video game. Remember that video game Guitar Hero?
Yeah.
Right. And then they discovered it was actually not as easy to play a guitar as it was to just hit the buttons.
Right.
So, you know, why would you say, or why would you recommend to someone who would say that, like, learning the skill of shaving with a straight razor is something worth doing?
Oh man. Learning new skills in general is just good for you, right? There are certain things we do not because they're easy, but it is just good to know how to do it. And like changing the oil in your car or changing a tire, right? You should just know how to do those things, even though you could probably roll a few miles to a shop where they can take care of it for you.
Right.
Learning new skills, especially as you age, there's a lot of research that says, you know, acquiring new skills constantly will keep you keep those neurons firing, right? So there's some cognition and memory stuff involved there. I guess, you know, with straight shaving specifically, it kind of relates to me more personally in that it is a little bit more dangerous. You are accountable. Right. You are accountable for making sure that the tool is good to use and it is in good condition. And if you take care of that tool, it'll take good care of you. And that is just a good way to approach life, right? If I take care of the people around me, if I take care of the things that I interact with, they will take better care of me. And that's the world I want to live in, right? So I'm getting a little philosophical here.
No problem.
But that's kind of what it comes down to is, you know, those little decisions that you make, your decision to use the straight razor over disposables for the rest of your life,
right,
has a meaningful impact. Not just in the context of shaving, but in the other decisions that you make as well. You might make a decision now to buy other products that will last longer, right, and not have to be disposed of as soon. Right. So, you know, the phones are kind of a trap, right? That's hard because we can't really function in our society anymore without that. Right. I hope that in the coming years we come up with solutions for that.
Yeah.
It would be nice to have phones with upgradable hardware and business models that don't rely on that, planned obsolescence.
Right. Well, just as an aside, one of the things I really appreciate about straight razor shaving is it's a time of absolute focus and concentration, because so much you're constantly distracted. If I'm trying to even just read something on my iPad, I'm still getting, here's a message, you've got an email, here's an update on a score, or everybody's multitasking. Everybody wants to do 2 or 3 things at the same time. And if the idea of mindfulness is just paying attention to what you're doing at that moment instead of what you did yesterday or what you're going to be doing later in the day, I think like straight razor shaving is perfect for that, because it's just like staying connected to everything present. That's going on. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Being present, staying connected to what you're doing.
It's meditative. Yeah, it really requires that focus. There's that danger factor of like, all right, if I'm not paying attention, I'm going to like cut my face open, and that's kind of a bummer.
Right.
It like part of it too, like it still scares me. I haven't done it lately, but I've been straight shaving for years, right?
You're trying out the beard products that they're going to be doing, right?
Well, exactly. So, and this is my winter beard. I usually grow one out for the ski season.
Gotcha.
And this will be coming off soon. I might do a demo and film it. We'll see.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. It is very meditative, and it does require that focus, and so it's just good for your mental health.
Yeah.
We are very plugged in. So when I go in for a straight shave, like I do not want that phone anywhere near me.
Right.
Right. I don't want the Instagram. I don't want the texts. It goes on silent, and I might turn some music on, and that's it. The only other thing you should hear is the exploding of the hairs as the razor, atomizes them as you're shaving, right? And that is the coolest sound. Yeah,
it's great. I have the Hydra, by the way, and I love it. And you guys also do the Leviathan. What is some the Kraken?
Sprite, Siren, Kraken, Leviathan, Hydra, and then we have the Artisans, which are in 7/8 or 8/8, Strix, Phoenix, Griffin, and then we have a Japanese-inspired razor, which is the Chimera.
Okay.
So it's a Kamisori fixed blade style razor, but it has the Western double hollow grind that we talked about in the class.
Right.
So
as you guys talk to a lot of new straight razor shavers, what would you say is like the most common mistake? Or if you had to give like a tip for somebody just starting, what's your hunter's baseline tip that you would share with people?
So 2 things.
Okay.
And this is true whether you use a straight razor or not, is face prep. Wet shavers are pretty good about this because they figured out that there's like a better system for it.
Right.
But taking your time to heat and moisturize the whiskers before you shave them, that can be a long hot shower, that can be a hot towel, will soften the beard and make it a lot easier to cut. Use some kind of lubricant, whether that's a shave soap or a shave oil. Use something, and then don't shave anywhere that there isn't lather. Don't shave anywhere that there isn't lubrication.
Right.
So don't do the like 5 passes over the same spot thing.
Right.
Those are my big ones that'll help no matter what system you're using. It's just face prep. I would also put aftershaves in that category, simply because that is going to help prevent a lot of common minor skin infections that cause razor burn and razor bumps. With the straight razor specifically, the big one is learning how to maintain your razor on your own. Make sure that you're stropping correctly, and know how to check to verify that your razor is shaving sharp and good to go. If you take care of the tool, it's going to take better care of you. So that is my one biggest piece. All the other stuff like angle and pressure, how to pull your skin, those are all helpful, and you're going to kind of have to figure that out on your own because it's different for every person.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So people might be checking out this video and they're interested in finding out more about you guys. Where can they go to contact you guys, keep up to date with what you're doing, or place an order? Even better, right?
Super. PortlandRazorCo.com is the best place to find our products and get in touch with us. We're also on social media, Facebook, and Instagram is our really big one.
Yeah, they do outstanding Instagram photos. The scales, you guys do some awesome pictures of the scales. I'll also mention that their website is a really good learning resource. They have things, you guys have all kinds of information, the anatomy of the razors, the strop techniques. So if you're just wanting to learn your technique, check out the website. on the pad test, it's just like a little bit of pressure and then a pull away?
Yeah, so I'm setting my finger on there, and I can kind of feel it snag, and then pulling my finger away at an angle. I'm not plucking the edge.
So you're actually not going across it,
No.
you're just pulling away.